Testing 1 2. It's still coming out of it. Still coming out of the speakers. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Real quick while you do that.
Okay. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing. Hey guys, thank you so much for coming out. We're really excited to have you here. Really excited for you all to listen to our friend Brian Pape. This is going to be the Q&A. Glazers Q&A. You gonna sponsor? Is Glazers a sponsor?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
I mean, you guys don't have all the gear, so I had to
You're right. I'm glad we don't. We have too much as it is.
I love the gear calls you guys have.
Oh my gosh. It's fun, but it's getting a little. Sound good? Just keeping testing here. Brian's going to be walking around with this guy, handing it to people, or else we'll Q&A time, something like that. We'll have a little bit of time for Q&A, maybe passing it out here and doing some tests. Saying hi to my buddy. How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
Good to see you. Just doing some tests. We'll do some Q&A.
Nice.
Yeah, and this will be passed around, hopefully. Good to see you, man. How you doing?
Good, bro. Always good to see you.
Yeah, what brings you down, you know?
You guys, man. You guys.
Great. This is cool.
Yeah,
It's
this
fun.
is gonna be fun.
Fun little production to have.
Excited.
Yeah. I think, Davis, am I good? Okay. Is it this low or something?
Yeah. But it's like distorted and low, so it's like, all right, good. What do you got?
I can keep testing. Can I have you scoot over just one seat? I'm going to snag this guy for...
Hey, Davis. How's it going? Hey.
Three people?
Yeah, this will be fine.
Okay. Testing 1 2. Let me grab another one. I can sit on this side. That'll actually work better.
Okay.
Yeah. Testing 1 2. This is 1 2. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3. 1 2 3.
We are now live.
That's awesome.
Real quick, guys, if you want to, come on in.
Just south of there, yeah.
Come on. Yep, keep going. Come on in, get your drinks, take your time. We are live broadcasting tonight, so just so you guys know.
So don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up. But we are broadcasting worldwide, so all the questions will be online. It'll be a lot of fun. You may or may not be on video. So anyway, a couple housekeeping items. Just want to thank you guys for showing up tonight. This is MiiR Live, where it's a live broadcasted show here at our flagship store in Seattle, where we bring on awesome guests who are changing the world and inspire us, and hopefully in turn can inspire you guys to do amazing things. So thanks for showing up and be a part of this. We want to thank Glazer's Camera for making a lot of the show possible with their amazing equipment. They're one of the premier independent photo retailers in the Northwest. So let's give a shout out to Glazer's real quick. Tonight we have a special guest with us. He's the co-founder of an amazing organization called Crochet Kids International. He's the co-founder, CEO. Kohl Crecelius is an amazing man. You guys are going to find out some awesome stories, learn about hats, shirts, and all things empowerment. So please welcome Kohl. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here in Seattle.
I know, it's your old stomping grounds.
Yeah, my old stomping grounds. Any excuse I have to be here, I take. I think I've already been at 4 coffee shops, literally just in today, so I'm getting my fix.
Now's the 5th.
Sure. Yeah.
You're good, right? You don't want any coffee? You're good?
I will after this, but I'm overtired and over-caffeinated at the moment, so.
I will, I'm going to put an order in real quick. Could I have a decaf Americano? I don't want to get jittery, so.
That's how that works around here?
Thank you, Matt.
Just
yeah,
like
you just shout it out and it just happens.
Oh
it just comes down.
Perfect.
But yeah, let's get into it. So some people, you guys, man, you pull a great audience. We started tweeting about this about a week or 2 ago, and look at the crowd. This is fantastic.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming, seriously. I know it's mainly the beer and the coffee, but I hope that we walk away with something else as well.
Yeah, so people who don't know Crochet Kids, like, let's just start from the beginning. Who are you? What do you do? And what do you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a nonprofit organization and a lifestyle brand. We exist to empower people to rise above poverty. That's our mission, why we get up every day, and why we do everything that happens at the organization. We sell headwear, apparel, and accessories. Every item we make is produced in either Uganda or Peru at one of our facilities, and every piece is hand-signed by the lady who made it. So on the inside, there's a tag on every product where you can see that Betty made this red beanie, and you can go on the website and learn a little bit more about her story. Really, the goal and the hope for us is to help people connect their products to a personal story and to help them understand that the things that we wear every day are actually made by people, that people's lives are impacted by the things, the simple interactions that we have at our stores, and want to tell that story because it's such a beautiful thing that a product is so much more than something that keeps our head warm or that we wear. It actually is impacting somebody's life, so let's celebrate that.
Totally. And you can actually go on your website, look up the lady, and you can write a thank you note, right? So you can actually, so how do you guys get it from there? Like, do you email them? Do you send them? Do you take them?
Yeah, so it's fun, and we've done it a few different ways. Like, so on the ground in Uganda and Peru, we have a staff that's made up of mostly national staff, so Ugandan or Peruvian people. And a lot of times they will print out thank yous, ones that are especially encouraging, and share those with the women. We really say in so many ways it's kind of an X factor of our work because you can give somebody a job, you can educate them, you can mentor them toward a better future, but one of the biggest things they need to have is confidence in themselves and confidence that they can accomplish the dreams that they have in their life. And what better way to do that than to have this secret fan club of people that are just saying, you know what, Betty, your hat was awesome and I loved it and you do such good work. And I want you to know that I'm grateful and it's keeping my head warm in Seattle. You may not know what snow is, but it's freaking cold. And I was up in the mountains this winter. So all that to say, it's a connection point for both the women on the ground and for our customer.
I love how you guys like actually complete the circle, because so many times in social enterprise there's just like this disconnect of like product, or it's just only on the nonprofit side where they're working on development, there's no actual product. Where you guys are a nonprofit, you're making a product, you're impacting people's lives, and you're completing that circle for the customer to be able to meet the person who made it.
Exactly, and that's one of the biggest things. There's always this, hey, 5% goes here, or this product is given, and to be able to really connect somebody with the person who made the product has been really special. And I think that in so many ways it's an introduction, it's a gateway to learning more about other ways that you can give and serve and love, even with simple things like your purchases.
Totally. Oh, that's so cool. You guys have the ability to have that circle. Going back further, like how did you, I know the story, some people here know the story, like how did you, like where did the name come from?
Yeah.
Why Uganda? Why hats? Like how did you get to where you are now?
Yeah, crochet kids isn't exactly the easiest thing to say, right? There's got to be a story there. We've heard every pronunciation under the sun. Crochet, crotchet kids, and it's like, come on, people.
No, we get it.
It's English.
We get MiiR. You're like
MiiR. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, MiiR. Yeah.
They just kind of change a few letters.
They add letters.
So our backstory is such a rich part of our history and why we have the name that we do and why we got started. And going way back, 2003.
That's
might
way back.
date. Yeah, I might date myself here, right? Oh,
Pre-cell
here's
phone.
your magic
Oh, thank
latte.
you, good sir.
My pleasure.
Yeah. I guess,
Wow.
I'm just tempting you. Fifth coffee shop.
Yeah. So I grew up in Spokane, Washington. A lot of you being from Seattle know where that is. For those of you viewing in online and from all over the world, you must know that Spokane is really the epicenter of the entire Northwest and one of the most beautiful places. They call it God's country out there. And that's where I grew up, in the mountains and the lakes.
You and Ryan Lewis.
And all that. But seriously, beautiful 4 seasons. Grew up skiing since I was 2. My dad's here. Shout out to Lyle.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad. Got me on the slopes when I was really young. So grew up skiing, and a staple piece of life is a beanie.
Yeah.
And my brother went to school down in San Diego, came home. I was still in high school, and he learned how to crochet. So I don't know what your older siblings taught you when they first came back from their freshman year of college. I imagine it was maybe like a keg stand or something.
That's what a wholesome thing.
Yeah, my older brother taught me how to crochet. Part of me was like, really? This is what we're doing now. Okay, here we go. But fell in love with it, started making hats, and started this company that became known as Crochet Kids. My friends and I were making custom beanies for people. No matter what they wanted, we would make it for them. And saved up a little money, kind of flexed that entrepreneurial muscle that we didn't really know we had, and didn't really have at the time, but started to explore that, and didn't have a bigger vision for it at the time other than focusing on making money.
Yeah.
But as they say, more money, more problems.
Oh,
And so we moved on to college and didn't have any money, and instead started traveling. So in our summer breaks, we would be volunteering with international organizations. And I think something that resonates with a lot of people, probably a lot of you in this room, is that when you travel, when you visit a developing world, your first question is, man, there's got to be something that I could do. What, if anything, could I do to help? And that was something that stuck with us, and we kept asking that question. And it was in 2006 that my really close friend and fellow co-founder, Stuart Ramsey, came back from a trip to Uganda and shared with us stories of people who had lived through horrendous tragedies, 20 years of civil war within the country, rebel violence, child soldiers, abductions. And the biggest thing that he took back and shared with us was that these people weren't content in these circumstances, or they weren't content in their poverty or in the in the 8 organizations that were trying to help them, they said, no, we want to work. We want to provide for ourselves and our own families. Help us to do that. And that was really the impetus for starting Crochet Kids International, the nonprofit, was, hey, we have this skill, as simple as it is, hook and yarn, making hats. It could be a opportunity, it could be a job for somebody, that they could use that to start building a future for themselves and their families and work towards an independent future, that they could be standing on their own 2 feet. And so that's what we did. We were halfway through college, and we started a nonprofit organization.
While in college.
While in college, yeah, our junior year of college. I was at the University of Washington, and go Dogs. Yeah. And it was so funny. I'm talking way too long about this, but it's so funny because I'd be in a marketing class, and the project is come up with a marketing plan for X product, and I'd get 3 or 4 random strangers, just classmates together, and say, okay guys, we could make up a fake product and create a fake business plan or marketing plan around that. Or we could make a marketing plan around this really cool idea where we teach women in Uganda how to crochet. And time and again, it was like, yeah, we're game on. So some of our first business plans that we put together all happened through school. And we went back in 2007 and trained 10 ladies how to crochet. We sat down with them one-on-one with the help of some translators and some local organizations, taught them this skill that we knew how to do, and as a result, kind of got this snowball rolling around a brand that valued people in the production process and leveraged that as an opportunity to give them something to hold on to, give them their dignity back and the right to earn their own income and support their own families.
Yeah.
So,
man, I can't, like, it's still, I'm so impressed that you guys just like, and maybe that's like part of the beauty of entrepreneurial spirits is that you don't know what you can't do, so you just try it anyway. And you guys are like, we're just gonna fly over there and train some ladies how to crochet. Like, why not?
100%,
right?
yeah. Like, and that's a big encouragement I think that I like to share with people is celebrate your naivety. You know, celebrate the fact that you don't know all of the systems that are in place or how things are supposed to work. I think that's where a lot of the most ingenious ideas come from, because
Totally.
I think if we would have waited in this kind of normal fashion of accreditation and validation of like, oh, I need my degree and I need to become very educated, I need to understand business, and then eventually I'll start this thing, we probably would have talked ourselves out of it and been like, you know what, it's probably not a good idea to start a beanie company in sub-Saharan Africa. But as it is, like that, we were following a passion, and we were so motivated and driven by that there was no other solution other than to start something and be successful with it.
Totally.
We didn't give ourselves a plan B. It was like, this has to
We're
happen.
just gonna do this.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love that, because I think one of the things when people, we just had dinner a little while ago, and we were talking about when people ask you, like, they're starting their business and how do you help them, and the challenge of like responding to so many people when you have 500 unread emails and you're trying to get back to vendors, and like how do you help people who are trying to start something.
Yeah.
And some of it is like, don't listen to the status quo of like either A, you can't do it, or that's not traditional. Like, figure out, like, you have to go this certain route. It's like totally bogus. Like, the reality is, like with bikes, we came back from Liberia and we're inspired to help get more people onto bikes, and everybody said, don't start a bike company. It's the worst idea in the world. Like, long terms, horrible margins, like where are you gonna sell them to? And then we found out that people weren't selling bikes to REI, like Trek, Specialized, all those guys weren't selling there. And so we had this massive market for us to sell a product into, and it turns out like they pay a net 30, they're a great customer, and now all of our bikes are nationwide in REI. And it's like, if we would have listened to all the critics, you know, like this
you would have got stopped
you
a lot
know, or
sooner.
like, or you know, even the flagship, like, don't serve coffee and beer. That's a horrible idea, you know.
Who said that was a horrible idea? Let me talk to this person. Don't serve coffee and beer.
Yeah. So it's, I mean, I think those like, those like naivety moments are like those naive moments are almost like.
So don't
necessary.
think, guys. Stop thinking.
Yeah, just do it.
Go. You know. That's what we're about.
Kohl's from
tonight.
Southern California right now, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah.
So you guys go over there, you build this program, and then fast forward now, you guys have hats that are made there. You're in Peru now doing cut and sew program with clothes, bags. We have some of their products over here. How did you guys, because I'm always curious, like how do you iterate, when you add a production line, whether it's a new product, and now you have like 2 production facilities halfway across the world.
Yeah.
Why Peru? Like how did you get, like what was the motivation there?
Yeah, so we had been in Uganda for about 3 or 4 years, and we had been able to grow a lot in our work. We started with 10 women, as I said, and we were getting close to employing 100 women in Uganda 3 years in or so. And we saw the need to start to create other types of products. The hats were great, and they're still one of our staples of our line, but due to operating in sub-Saharan Africa and accessing materials and having helpful things like consistent electricity, it makes just the minor things. There's the little things, right? It made it hard to think about doing other products. And so, but even above and beyond that, like as I said, where we started was empowering people to rise above poverty. So one of the interesting things about expanding to a new country for us too is, let's take this model for how we're changing people's lives, jobs, education, mentorship, graduating them into these self-reliant livelihoods and out of our programs. What does that look like in another developing country? And so we started to hone in on a few different places, and for us, a lot of it came down to relationships. How can we step into a community, not as this figure who's going to come and save the day, but how can we come and have the support of people who are already working there? And so we were looking in South America. We knew they had great access to materials and this beautiful history of textiles, and we had a few relationships down there, and so we started there. And again, it really was like, I think another myth that I always try to debunk is that it's this idea that we have to, as soon as you start, you need to be helping millions of people. Or it's easy to look at MiiR or Crochet Kids International today and be like, wow, that you guys are such an overnight success. What happened? And you're like,
the allure of the overnight success.
There was 8 years of overnights, not many of them with a lot of sleep to put into this.
Totally.
And so with all of that, we stepped into a new country and started small, started understanding what the community needed and how we could address that, started understanding what access to materials we would have there and what other types of products we could make. And we started with headwear, and then as you mentioned, we now do apparel. We have our own cut and sew floor, so that the big goal for us was that we wanted to say, without a shadow of a doubt, any product you buy from us is hand signed by the person who made it, and we get to tell you their story and how their life is changing as a result of your purchase.
Yeah.
So,
the one thing I'm curious about is when you go to this new country, what was the response of the initial people that you worked with when the reality is like white male coming from the U.S. wanting to do good? Like, was there pushback? Like, how did you guys navigate through that and saying like, hey, we really want to help you and we're not going to exploit you?
Totally, that's one of the biggest things. And you step into an environment that unfortunately has been riddled with that idea that organizations come with these big promises and expectations, and then funding runs out and they're gone. So there's a lot of baggage and a lot of brokenness throughout that whole process. The biggest thing that we recognized from the very beginning was that it wasn't going to be about us. Like there were certain things that we were good at. We could help train and design and make really great apparel or understand that process, but we weren't going to be the ones who were responsible for the empowerment of the women that we serve. We didn't speak their language. We couldn't talk from an understanding of their background and their culture. Right. And so the first thing we did before we could pay staff was we brought on a local advisory group. So other local leaders in Uganda, similarly in Peru, and we said, hey, here's the vision, but this isn't going to happen without your involvement, without your help in navigating how we can do this best. And I think that there's a lot to be said about that humility and realizing that there's only so much that you can do. And at the end of the day, the people who live there and and have known that environment their entire lives are going to be the ones who will continue to be there even if you move home. And so that was the biggest thing we did right out of the gates. And to the point today where in Uganda and Peru, we have 2 American staff and about 40 Ugandan staff.
Wow.
And then 150 women who are making all of the product. And in Peru, it's very similar. 3 American staff, 50 Peruvian staff, and 50 additional women that we're serving. And I think that it speaks volumes to everyone who's a part of that process to say that if we're about empowerment, it's about empowerment at every level. It's not just even specifically for the women that we hope to serve, it's for everyone involved.
Totally. Oh, it's so good to see that you guys have like sustainable, contextual local people helping out on the ground, like your country director. I'm totally forgetting his name right now.
Dominic.
Dominic, he's
the man.
Yeah, he's a character. But having those people probably allows you guys to have so much more respect from the ladies in both locations.
Exactly, and you think about operating, within a context and a government that you are very wary of outside people too, and there's a lot of credibility that comes when you're able to say, here's our head of office, here's a Ugandan gentleman who's leading the charge. We're about seeing Ugandans thrive.
That's awesome. We have, I love this video. It's probably one of the best videos you guys have done. This is empowerment. It's an incredible film. Did you guys film it in Peru or is it both?
It's both in Uganda and Peru. It's our brand video that it encapsulates who we are as an organization and as a brand. So
awesome. Let's cut to that video. You guys can keep getting drinks, but check out this amazing video that they produced last year. Yeah.
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 Enjoy.
It started with an idea, a simple act in response to a call for help. It started by listening, because everyone has a voice, because we all deserve dignity, because people are willing and capable. Empowerment requires much more than a single transaction or temporary assistance. An opportunity to flourish does not start with a handout. It starts with a job. Work provides worth. Education breeds innovation. Mentorship nourishes relationship. It's about investing in the whole person, because people are worth it. Because everyone has a dream for their future. What would the world look like if we viewed the success of others as our own? What if you could equip someone to not just survive, but thrive? What if you could play a role in this process? What if you could know who made your product? And what if their life would never be the same because of it? This is empowerment.
So good. I love that video. It gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. I think one of the phrases in there where it talks about because people matter is like such a like that human element is so important when you're like producing something, consuming something. The reality is like we're all consumers of stuff, so can we have that purchase actually impact someone's life? And then you guys are doing such a great job on the ground doing it.
Yeah.
I love that video.
Yeah, so do I.
If you guys are tuning in online, we are here with Kohl, Crecelius, MiiR.com/live. You guys can tweet in questions. We do have a couple questions. We're going to choose some people throughout the night. We have some awesome hats from the ladies, some tumblers that we're giving away. So if you have questions for us, tweet them in. We will have a mic later too, so for the in-studio or in-flagship audience, you guys can ask questions live on the mic as well. So real quick, let's go to Michael Lane _5.
Ooh.
Great name.
My lucky number's 5.
Yeah, perfect. Kohl, how did you get funding? How did you pursue investment? So before we answer that, let's back up and say, like, you guys, some people think, social enterprise, what is that? For-profit, nonprofit, both models work. You guys have chosen the nonprofit route. What does that look like? How do you guys do funding? Tell us more about that process.
Yeah, of course. So we strictly are a nonprofit organization, a registered 501c3. It was how we started from the very beginning, and I will say that there were multiple times during our growth and in our first 3 or 4 years that we came back to that question. We want to be a business, we want to be an apparel brand, we want to do that well. What's the best structure for us? And at the end of the day, for us personally, I don't think that there's a single way of going about it, but for us, I can say that the model that made the most sense was a nonprofit organization. And one of the biggest reasons was that we could be fully focused on our mission of empowerment without muddling the waters of that in any way. So when it comes to how we raise money, as any brand, any company needs to do, we do that through donations. And what we love about that is that we get to invite people with their giving, with their resources into sharing and equipping us to do our work even better. And it's something that we get to all be on the same page, and we get to understand this is why we're doing this. This is why I'm giving Crochet Kids International money. And this is the end goal, is that more women would be empowered through that process. And across the board for us, it's just made so much sense that we can stand on that pillar. And it's actually really fun as we do partnerships and other collaborations, because we get to hold that at the forefront of our conversations as well and say, this is why we exist, and this is the goal of this partnership for us. And it's been so cool just to see that, challenge in people to say, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll think about this partnership a little bit differently. Maybe we'll structure it in a way that we don't normally with brands. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun kind of just challenging those norms of that have been established.
Yeah, because the typical approach is either be a for-profit company and you give through a nonprofit or a foundation, or you're a nonprofit and you don't make product, you just do development work, right?
Right, and you fundraise 100% of your budget.
Yeah.
So yeah, the way that it works for us is that we generate over 80% of our revenue through our product sales, and then we fundraise 20% of our revenue every year to help really do the activities on the ground that go above and beyond apparel production. The education programs that we do, the mentorship that we provide helps to sustain those things. And it's really fun because it allows us to interact with donors and say 100% of your donation goes directly to the ground to accomplish these things. We cover the rest of it through the product sales.
Yeah, so you guys are using market-based solutions in the sense of like selling product, getting it out there, selling to Nordstrom, working with fans, and then using those proceeds to continue to build the company.
Right.
Man, I love how what's cool is there's so many unique ways and avenues that you can go about changing the world. So for MiiR, we are a for-profit company, but we're also a certified B Corp, which is relatively new, and I feel like you guys were very progressive in the sense that over 10 years ago, there weren't benefit corporations, and these things. You're just doing it because you think it's the right thing to do, and that's the avenue that you guys are going down. So I love seeing different models, and then you guys have been able to be successful at it. I mean, you guys have been at it for, 10, 12 years? I mean, from day one?
Yeah, from day, it goes back.
When you were making the product?
We say 8 years now. But yeah, just over 8 years since that initial trip to Uganda and teaching those ladies how to crochet.
That's awesome. Yeah. So you guys know that the ladies are making these products. I think one of the most interesting pieces about the brand is that they train these ladies, and you can get into this more because it's what you guys do, but they're not there in perpetuity. Like you guys are helping train them and eventually letting them graduate from the program. Yeah. And then you guys have to kind of find new ladies to bring back into the program. So you're essentially like training your workforce and then forcing them to graduate and start a business or whatever else. I mean,
Yeah.
If I was to do that right now, it was like, wait a second, we just trained all these people, you know,
Totally.
now leave. So how do you guys accomplish that?
Before, did we answer Michael's question?
Did we? I think we
Michael
skipped right
Lane,
over
5.
it. Sorry.
I'm here for you, buddy. How did we get? Yeah, so I'll just say initially, the funding model I think is super important. Initially, how did we get funding? We broke out our crochet hooks and we started crocheting again was one thing. We started to
Sweat
have
equity.
that earned income model from the very get-go. And then the other thing is very non-traditional maybe is we just wrote letters and got as many addresses as we could to as many people as possible and said, hey, this is the idea. We're going to go and train women in Uganda how to crochet and garnered support that way. And then investment looks different today than it did at that point. But there's also, as you said, it's a really interesting time to be in business and to be a business that's doing philanthropic work, whether you're on the for-profit or nonprofit side. The lines are getting really blurry around what is a pure investment, what is an investment that expects both a social and economic return. And I think that even as a nonprofit, we've experienced and worked with some really great foundations and individual solutions for our growth that have made sense. And so there's impact investment is the umbrella term that we've been able to leverage. But that's
good. I'm glad
that's you, Michael. Airbound.
Well, and I think what's cool is that you guys have been able to sustain a business long enough that it's almost like the rest of the investment community has caught up, so to speak, where
Totally.
there's like family foundations, there's impact investors who solely want to lend money to nonprofits so that you guys can continue to grow. Yeah,
exactly. It's so interesting. So many foundations have been wanting to do something like this, but there hasn't been the use case, there hasn't been the organization, and we really fit a unique mold for them because we are a nonprofit and we do earn an income through our product sales. So yeah, enough on the investment side. Back to the empowerment piece. So as you mentioned, one of the staples of our program is actually graduation. We work women through a program that lasts 3 to 5 years. It starts with a job, and then there's a very structured 3-year education curriculum. And then as well, we have a one-on-one mentorship program. As we say, we focus on holistic development, caring for the whole person and equipping them in all the ways that they need to, with the end goal that they would actually leave our programs and step into locally sustainable careers and businesses. And again, that would be another case of...
that's insane, right?
Yeah, exactly. Here's our workforce. We want you to leave. But that's our mission, right? That's the whole goal of why we exist is we didn't want to be another organization, as I aggressively grip my knee for emphasis. We didn't want to be another organization that was creating a cycle of dependency. We had seen that over and over again where these solutions weren't thinking about the long term. And so if our goal was to truly empower people, that had to mean that they would be successful outside of our support. And so that was exactly what we did. Is we said, okay, there's an end goal, and this is what we're shooting for. And we're going to make sure you get there. We're going to make sure you have the finances, the education, the support system, and even the business rolling before you step out into that. But that's the goal. And it's been so amazing to see women take that charge and to grow in their confidence. And last November, we actually graduated 40 women out of our programs in Uganda and into locally sustained businesses and or careers. And they are the ones who are changing the face of their community. It's not about us. We, as Crochet Kids International, we're the catalyst. We're a stepping stone for these ladies, where they're the ones that are truly like owning their empowerment, and that's what's amazing to see.
Oh man, that's I don't even know how to begin to describe how insane it is, but then inspiring that you guys are following through with what you guys set out at the beginning for your mission. Because so many times it gets wishy-washy, or you second guess yourself, and then you're like, no, we're gonna actually go back. We need these employees because we have these orders from Nordstrom, so we actually need you to stay here. But you guys are dedicated to graduating those ladies,
completely,
which is so cool. I hesitate to go into a singular story because I think it's dangerous. But can you share a couple stories, or just what happens when some of the ladies graduate? Like, what do they do? Like, what kind of businesses do they start?
Right, and I think what's interesting and unique about our model as well is something that everyone's familiar with, the idea of microfinance or micro lending. Something that's a little bit different about our model is that the solutions and the careers that people step into aren't only entrepreneurial. It's not only people who say, I can take this money and make an investment and work hard and start a business and repay that investment. It's actually allows for a little bit wider scope. A great example of that are women in our program who have taken the time while at Crochet Kids International to go back to school and to earn degrees. Women are going back and they're teachers.
Wow.
So they're going back and they're impacting their communities in other ways. And ultimately what that is saying is that we all as people have unique giftings and skills and interests in our life. We're not all business people, we're not all entrepreneurs, so we don't want to force people into those buckets if that's not who they are.
Yeah.
And so there's teachers, there's women that are starting agricultural businesses or buying motorcycles in Uganda and renting out those motorcycles as a taxi
I've heard
service.
stories of this.
Yeah, taxis in Uganda are way cooler than they are here in the US is what it comes down to. You just hop on the back of a motorcycle and that's your Uber.
You just go.
Yeah, that's exactly. So yeah, it looks very different, but the whole point is that it's contextualized and individualized to each specific woman. And that's us, like this is Crochet Kids, and why we exist is for that depth of impact and that individualized approach. We realize that that's not everyone's MO, that not everyone can do that, but that's the proof in the case study that we're making and saying that this matters, that equipping people in all areas of their life is important.
Yeah. We have, you guys are just awesome at video, by the way. We have another fantastic video of the celebration of the graduation, right? I mean, you can kind of picture what is going on when you go through this program, but like the looks on these ladies' faces is just like sheer joy. So let's cut to the graduation video. How recent is this?
The video was recently released within the last 6 weeks.
6 weeks? So it's fresh, all right.
Yeah, so enjoy.
From the beginning, our job has been to empower, not give. To equip, not aid. We create impact that focuses on the whole person. This is how we believe communities change. Every woman who enters our program works towards the same goal, graduation. We refuse to be an organization creating further cycles of dependency. Instead, our goal is to help families become self-reliant, independent from outside aid, including our own. Over multiple years, we provide consistent employment, a holistic education curriculum, and one-on-one mentorship so that women are supported in all areas of their lives. They are equipped with tools, resources, and knowledge necessary to achieve self-sufficiency. A woman's progress is measured monthly. We use over 45 key indicators to track their personal development. The result is this: women graduating from our programs, stepping into successful businesses and careers that will allow them to care for their families, provide further jobs in their community, and set a positive example for change. Best of all, when women graduate, they create an opportunity for a new woman to experience the same empowerment.
Epic. We gotta give it up for that video. Man, you guys are killing the videos. Those are so good.
The stories tell themselves, right? And the joy, as you mentioned, that's just present is what's so captivating about the video.
Totally.
But that's such an important point too that I didn't really mention before, is that not only is the graduation piece something we feel like is so vital to really, if we stand for empowerment, standing for women that can stand on their own 2 feet, there's a lot of standing there, but also that it provides an opportunity. That's how we see our impact grow and be exponential over time, is that women are leaving and more women are coming in to experience that same empowerment.
Yeah. Now this might sound like a weird question, but for people in development totally get why.
Yes, I'll go to dinner with you.
Again, all right. But you guys focus exclusively on employing women in both Peru and Uganda.
Right.
And so for people who may not be familiar with development work or how amazing women are, there's people out there who don't know that yet. So
Give the program.
Yeah, come on. What is it that you like? Why do you guys only focus on the ladies in these 2 countries?
Yeah, specifically in Uganda and Peru, where we have been working for the last 8 years, we've seen that that's where we can create the most impact and change, is because a woman is in these situations the caregiver and the provider in many ways for her family, and is a consistent, stable figure both in her family and in her community. And so that we see that by employing, and we know this through the data that we collect, a lot of what the video talked about, we see that one woman is on average employing 5 additional people. Wow. So her kids are in school, their lives are changing dramatically alongside their mothers, and that's where we see this exponential impact take place. And it's not that we are denying men empowerment in this process. It's just men and husbands and brothers and people who are part of these families, we bring them in as well to say, hey, this is a family effort. If businesses and things are going to thrive outside of these walls of Crochet Kids International, your involvement's needed. And so oftentimes women are investing their money into businesses that the husbands are running during the day, and they're getting that going in a way that when a lady graduates, she's stepping into a successful ongoing company.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great explanation, because a lot of times people don't know why. They're like, "What? I don't understand this," but it makes so much sense.
And women, where are my women at? You guys are awesome. Yes. Yeah, that too.
Yeah, they just get it. Jill, can you scroll up? There was another question from the Twitters down. Right there.
Twitters.
The Twitters.
We've
got
spheres.
Lance True B. Yes.
Hey, be true.
Be true. As leaders with social impact brands, how do you build trust with consumers while also being strong marketers?
I think that's how you are a strong marketer, is by being, authentic with your story and inviting people into that. And it's not about saying that everything you do is perfect. I think that the whole point is saying, hey, everything we do could be done better. Yeah. And if you see something, you let us know, because we would love to fix it, or we'd love to have a conversation around that. And I think that's where strength in marketing comes, is when there are people who can trust what you say.
Totally. And
they trust that when you have an ounce of humility and can say, hey, we're all in this together.
Totally. We were talking a lot about at dinner, collaborations, and then just the ability that, it's not singular that one company is changing the world or one individual is changing the world. And how we live in an exciting time where there's so many brands trying to engage in unique ways of helping change the world, and that it's not one person, one company, one organization, and that we have unique models. MiiR is very similar to Crochet Kids and very different than Crochet Kids, and that we have this kind of collective, almost strength of social brands to hopefully influence other people to start social enterprises to help change the world. And I think, how do you guys, what we always talk about at MiiR is, and the team here that's part of MiiR is going to roll their eyes because I always talk about this, but it's like moving from transaction to interaction. And you guys do, there's so many eye rolls.
Brian.
How do you
Not
guys,
at work. We're drinking beer and coffee right now.
How do you guys, besides engaging in the training of finance, like all those other aspects, like how do you guys do that as a brand? How do you encourage your customers to engage beyond just like buying more hats, right? Like I think that's something we always battle with at MiiR is we don't want to have the illusion that like the only way to change the world is to buy more MiiR stuff, right? Like that's an important piece.
It's a very important.
It is an important piece. So all of you should, and we'd much rather you buy, us over Hydro Flask or whoever else it is, because like if you're buying our product, we believe that we have more impact, So, but the reality is that it's not just going to be people buying bottles that is going to help solve the clean water crisis.
Totally.
It's Charity Water doing their deal. It's World Vision doing their deal. It's everybody else. So like, how do you guys foster that to get your customers to do more than just, and maybe it's part of it is being nonprofit that people can donate, we can't accept donations.
Yeah. I think a big piece of it is realizing, and I think that as a social enterprise at any level, one of the first things you realize is that what you do isn't enough. What you do isn't the solution to the world's problems. Maybe you go in with some of those ambitions. Maybe people ask you or make you feel bad, like, oh, well, why don't you also help in this country and that country, and why are you only helping 200 women? Why isn't it 2,000? People project what they want you to do, when the reality is that it does take everyone. The term that I really like to use that I stole from somebody that I don't remember who, so...
Then it doesn't matter.
If it's you can email me later. But this idea of symphonic justice, that it takes everyone pursuing their unique gifting and passion and pairing that with a cause or with something that they truly care about in the world. And so the more that people come to MiiR or come to Crochet Kids and want to learn about what we do, it's not, the goal isn't for everyone here to learn how to crochet and to go teach somebody else how to crochet and like for this thing to grow. No, the goal is to use the thing that you're already really good at and leverage that in a way that makes an impact.
Totally.
And so I think that as people come to our brand, we realize that, and we hope that we are an introduction to learning about something they maybe didn't know, that products are made by people.
Yeah.
And that can be an introduction and something that gets their wheels spinning, that it could be a gateway to learning about other simple things they can do in their daily life, whether it be the purchases they make at the grocery store or the ways they can, conserve water at their home, that they just become more conscious and aware of how their daily activities have a greater impact than they realize. And with apparel specifically, we're not trained or we don't grow up knowing or having this like direct connection with where things are made. It's actually, decades ago, we had our product made by a local man or woman and saw the sale or the purchase that we made impact her and her family. As we've started to outsource more and more, it's like this very like out of sight, out of mind. I don't have to worry about it. I just know that this T-shirt is somehow $2, and that's amazing. If you really like dive into that, and you like, if I know that people make products, and I learned about that from Crochet Kids or X organization or brand, and then I see, literally, I have this picture on my phone. I think it was at Ace Hardware. It's like this display of like, these T-shirts are $2 in like this variety of colors, and you can't rectify knowing that people make your product and knowing that this product got to the U.S. and is being sold for $2. Like, you see that there's something inherently wrong with this process right now, and all that to say, it starts to make an awareness, and I think that's the beauty of the times we live in, is that more people are sharing this kind of common awareness about the products that we buy and the impact that it has.
Totally, and there's so much more transparency too with like social media, supply chain. I mean, Patagonia, who we work a lot with, who's helped us with our supply chain. has really been on the forefront of really allowing people to see like where products come from
Yeah.
and how it's impacted by people.
And just sharing the simple fact that like this matters. You know? And the more that we can collectively be sharing that message, the more that awareness influences our daily lives, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
And that as a result forces companies to do something about it, right?
Yeah.
Because when you start asking questions and you're like, hey man, where was this T-shirt made? H&M or like where did this come from? Tell me about it.
Tell me
They're
more.
Like, somebody's asking about this.
Well, I think I mean it was Patagonia, but there's so much more like down now, right?
Yeah.
Like there was a huge issue with down. It was with live plucking and all this stuff, and now it's you see outdoor research, you see Patagonia actually tracing where their down comes from,
Right.
which is incredible that it's actually risen probably from consumer demand.
The internet, man.
The interwebs.
It's
Crazy.
It's all about the
People are
World
asking
Wide
questions
Web.
online.
Yeah, the Twitters.
There was another great question. Jill, do you want to scroll? Who's this?
So many good questions.
So many good questions. Maybe it was down. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we should for sure skip that one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're not going to say who it is. I mean, they say there's no dumb questions. I'm just kidding. There's only good questions here.
Let's see. How will Ryan Ricketts? Let's scroll back up. This one's interesting. I noticed the trend of gender-based language ladies. Quote: "Is that a conscious choice? How will Crochet Kids empower men?"
Yeah,
we talked a little bit about that. But
yeah, I think we did touch on that. I mean, I think that again, why we focus on women specifically.
Yeah.
The term ladies, like for us, it's like these are friends, and these are people that we know and are connected with on a lot of levels, and through our staff. And so we purposely choose language that's really personal in that way.
And you're kind of empowering the men through the ladies.
Exactly.
The ladies are making money. They're helping grow the businesses.
Mm-hmm. And as I mentioned, I mean, we have our staff in either location is majority local people, and there's a lot of men and women amidst that staff as well.
Totally. Oh man, this is a great one. When are we gonna have more Visco filters from you, Kohl?
Man, that is a great one. What I want to see, have you guys
Wait,
seen,
how do you pronounce it? Is that Whit Papa? At Whit Papa? How do you?
What's up, Whit Papa?
Whit Papa. That's a good. I love that question. Yeah, more
I love
Visco.
Whit Papa.
You guys.
Yeah, nothing in the mix. I want to get a. Have you seen Disco?
Yes.
So Disco is like the GIF version of Visco, and it's awesome. We need to work on having a GIF version.
You should.
Filter set.
That'd be pretty. What would it be if you could GIF Crochet Kids? What would it be?
If like a GIF embodied Crochet Kids.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, probably.
Ours would just be coffee and beer and like bikes and just
Yeah, ours would probably be a woman in Uganda just like riding a motorcycle, just being a boss.
Just like actually picking people up, like running a business, or just cruising?
Just like shades on, a beanie, and like a scarf flapping in the wind.
That's a good. So this brings up a question that I've always had this question.
Oh, whoa.
Do the ladies wear hats in Uganda? Is it too hot?
More often than you would think,
Really?
for sure. Yeah, probably for the same reason that you're dressed like it's summer in 75, and I'm like freezing cold in Seattle right now,
Like it's
even
so
though
nice.
it feels great to you people.
I've been running around all day like this too. Yeah.
Yeah. We went outside and Brian's wearing a short sleeve. I was like,
Bold move.
"You cool, man? Gonna catch a cold?"
Yeah, I was down in LA like three weeks ago with you guys.
Yeah.
And I was dying, and Stu, the other co-founder, took me surfing, which I went swimming. He went surfing. I just sat there.
It's cool, man.
And he's like, it's really cold, man. Just be careful. We get in, it's like 72 degrees. I'm like, why are we wearing wetsuits again?
Yeah, it feels like a hot tub to anyone in the Northwest.
It was fantastic. Do you guys, Jill? Do you have? Before we jump into Kickstarter, let's see if anybody Let's be fair. Does anybody in the audience have questions for either of us? Crochet Kids, empowerment,
Personal
gifts, disco,
interests, food. Oh.
Yes.
Hello.
How do you select the ladies for your programs?
That's a really great question. So if not everyone could hear that, the question was, how do we select the women that are a part of our program? As with anything that we do, it's a very intentional process. Our goal is to employ those women in the communities where we work who are most vulnerable. And so the way that we assess that is we first go to local churches, local organizations, and government offices, and we get a pool of applicants. They give us a list of women that they feel like are in need in their community. And then our mentors, who are Peruvian or Ugandan women, will go and do home visits and interviews to create a baseline assessment to understand really where their needs are, whether they would be a good fit for the program, whether it's something that they could physically do. And it's a combination of all those things that allow us to identify those that could benefit the most from our program and to our best knowledge, succeed in it. And we are constantly collecting applications, so as women do graduate, we're going and following up and bringing women into the program as we can. Yeah.
Great question.
Thanks for asking.
Would
Great
you
question.
like a tumbler or a hat?
Oh,
No.
Wow,
Sorry,
that's how this works.
Yeah.
You are the lucky person.
Perfect.
Choose your poison.
This one's pretty sweet.
Did somebody else just... Well, then why are you telling her that she should take a hat if you want a hat?
Gotta ask
She's
a
gonna
question.
take the hat that you wanted. So,
This one's pretty sweet though.
yeah, there is the owl.
Yeah.
Part of our children's collection. The best. I have a 2-month-old baby. His name's Clive. He has basically every crochet kit's app. We made, I don't call in favors often because our production facilities are really, really busy, but I had them make a miniature red beanie. It's the best. It's so good. Which one do you want? Oh, nice. Hey,
Nice.
let's get a photo later.
Awesome. Any other questions? Oh, now everyone's.
Okay.
Oh,
guys.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
now that there's product involved. Gosh.
Up front, right here.
Yeah, where do you, as far as marketing goes,
Yeah.
where do you see the most return on investment?
Yeah, that's a great question. Where do we see the most return on investment? So it's changed over time. I mean, in the landscape of retail and online sales and all that is dramatically shifting.
Yeah, especially in the last 8 years, it's like
Oh yeah,
even Facebook, it's like drastically different now.
yeah, the FB, man.
Man, the FB used to be great.
Yeah. So to answer your question, though, we initially started out doing a lot of events, and where we could directly just tell our story, which is one of the most important things, is that people actually take the time and understand that each piece is made by somebody, and that happens so beautifully at an event. And we would go for minimal cost and set up a booth and do really, really well there. More recently, and specifically in the online channel, we're seeing a lot of actual conversions take place through things like Instagram, where people are both exploring but also taking the step to buy into brands and to follow along. And once people are brought into kind of the breadth and the depth of what we do, which we do our best as we can through our social media channels, they're bought in. And we see a lot, one of the biggest trends that we see is a lot of repeat customers. Once they get the product and have it in hand, we're seeing that they continue to purchase. So capturing them through online, specifically Instagram right now, I mean, it has evolved over time. That's where we've seen a lot of positive ROI.
And even at a higher level, having the name in the hat is kind of marketing,
Totally.
For us, we have a tracking code on every bottle or bike that allows us to show people the projects that we invest in. And I think those things sometimes not quite, you can't quantify those specifically,
Yeah.
but those pieces are so unique in the social space that so few brands are actually showing who made the product or where the money's actually going. Is that for us, making that investment, whether it's the back end work of that, is probably one of the best ROIs for us, because we actually get to engage with our customer. Whereas traditionally, you buy, if you guys go to REI, you buy one of our products, you're kind of one of our customers, but you're also REI's customer. Whereas now you buy it there, you register the code on our website, you enter back into that story of MiiR. And so for us, like it's really valuable to have that full circle of transparency.
And I think that that's only going to be increasingly important as people, I feel like there was this initial wave of social entrepreneurship and this idea of social good.
Yeah.
I think that more and more people are asking really great questions about and wanting to know what specifically and how their product and purchases are helping, and those types of things I really believe are kind of social good 2.0.
Totally.
That proof. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want a hat or a tumbler?
Nice. He deferred to his girlfriend, which is the smartest thing he could have done. Yeah.
Nice.
It goes perfectly with your outfit.
Jill?
It's just like black on black on black on black.
I'm Alex, and I have a question. In the realm of when it comes to social ventures and everything like that, I hear a lot about passion being the driver to the best ideas. What would you say the number 2 thing is? Because you can have all the passion in the world, but maybe it's a bad idea, or maybe it's just what do you feel like is the number 2 thing that drives people to actually implement a social venture and see it come to fruition?
Just to clarify your question, are you asking like what's the thing that causes them to do that, or what's the thing that makes that passion successful?
What's the thing that makes it successful?
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
What I would say, I was listening to this.
Should we go like 1, 2, 3 and then say it, or
magic, sorcery,
luck, 8-year overnight,
blind luck. Yeah. Well, other than that, what I was gonna say is I was listening to a podcast, and I heard the most beautiful and the most boring statement ever that answers your question perfectly. I won't go into all the backstory, but basically this guy said, I want to help you make the awesome mundane. I want to take these big things and break them down into systems is what I heard out of that. And that's one of the biggest things that you go from passion projects, from having this idea and running on caffeine and just your drive for seeing it happen, to needing to professionalize, to systematize, and to make something that's sustainable. Because if you're relying on passion alone, you're going to burn out, and that's not good for anybody. So I would say systems is one of the biggest things, is running a really great business. And I'm the first to tell you that we have a lot to learn and to grow in to run a really great business. We haven't arrived, but that's been one of the most important things, is being intentional with every step and realizing that this is a beautiful vision, but the only way it's going to work is if we do all of the right steps, and if we pay attention to the details. And one of the best examples I can give you is that we had to make really great product. And I was going to ask you if you know. You probably don't know, but it's really hard to make really great product in sub-Saharan Africa and to ship it and the logistics surrounding that. But we had to do that well. And that was one of the best ways that we could see our mission through, was to take the time and to do all of those steps of quality control and design and delivery really, really well. And so that's what I would say is systems.
Totally. I totally agree. And I think there's stages where like certain aspects help when you're, 0 to starting, and then 3 years, 5 years, or whatever stage you're at. But I think kind of like an overarching thing, looking back and figuring out how did we get here and how are we going to get to the next whatever. And I think for us, it's a dedication to excellence, and that's an excellence in product. It's an excellence in how you're presenting the brand, whatever it is, whether it's story, customer service, like all of those things. Like if you're not pursuing excellence in all areas of your business, like your passion isn't going to turn into anything successful. And not only do you have a business, but you have like 50 other people trying to come after you or trying to take your market share. So like the only way that you're going to get ahead of XYZ company is that your dedication is better than theirs and you're going to out-hustle them. So like having that dedication to excellence, which definitely like systems right now, like this year was all about systems. It was great.
Yeah, it's like it's easier to live in the world of like, oh yeah, you know, if we're doing good, everything.
We'll ship it out. It'll be good.
It'll happen.
Yeah, I don't need
Lives
a forklift.
will change, but the reality is that, it takes all the steps that make anything successful.
And I think you touched on this, Kohl, and it's kind of a good segue for your guys' next product, which is fantastic. Is product. I think you can have all the passion in the world, but if you're a product-based company and you don't have an attention to detail on product, like you're not going to make it far. I don't think you're going to. Like if you want to be a legacy brand and be around for a while, like you have to build a quality product. And at least for MiiR, like we're so dedicated. Like we want to make sure that our product competes on its own without how we choose to give back, so that we can outcompete all of our competitors. And then when you add in the element that we're choosing to give back to bikes or education or clean water, it's so much better than our competitors that we're going to win the business. So, if we were just taking an off-the-shelf product, slapping a label on it, we might have a little bit of success, but I think our dedication to new designs, our own look, our own logo, those sort of things. And you guys, with the new alpaca, I mean, you guys have the world's greatest beanie now.
Yeah. We have a new alpaca. Which is a really good segue. We, in so many ways, like, we have, I'll take a step back. We have a Kickstarter. This is complete shameless promotion.
CrochetKids.com/Kickstarter?
Just type in world's greatest beanie. Pretty simple.
You guys are crushing the SEO then.
But yeah, exactly. But that was the thing for this project, was like, man, we do a lot. We put a lot of focus on the product, the person who makes it, the empowerment programs that they go through. But we asked that question, what would it look like to do more, to take it even a step further? You can know every single person who's a part of the supply chain. So the farmer of the alpaca, to the person who sheared the alpaca, to the person who's so our hat's made out of.
Is that the fiber selector?
She literally, we use baby alpaca, which I'm going to geek out on this for a second. Follow along if you want. Otherwise, check your phone right now. But literally, this lady's job is to take all of the alpaca that is sheared from the highlands of Peru, and she goes through. Baby alpaca is actually not the age of the animal, but it's the fineness of the fiber. So this lady goes through bundles of it, and she feels it by hand, and she says, baby alpaca. This, just regular old run-of-the-mill alpaca. And she grabs the next bundle, baby alpaca. It's like, so it's 100% baby alpaca yarn, which alpaca have this beautiful sustainability story too, which is the other process, or the other focus of the product, is that it's environmentally friendly, undyed material. So it's the raw color of the alpaca, which is beautiful. So yeah, it's what we're saying is the world's greatest beanie, and we're sticking to it.
That's
Are we
awesome.
gonna show a video?
Yes, and this is like Patagonia times 10. Like Patagonia is all about supply chain, but you're like, we're more than supply chain. We're empowering women in Peru.
Yeah.
We're using baby alpaca.
Yeah.
Which
you heard it here, Yvonne.
Yeah.
I would love to meet you though.
Yeah. Hashtag come on the show.
Yeah. See you later.
Yeah. See you later. But yeah, let's check this video again. You guys are killing the videos. This one's fantastic as well. Awesome drone. Drones are next level. We love drones.
Yeah.
Drones are fun.
Especially.
Yeah. You too. We have good drone stories of like getting them into country.
You drone. This is awesome.
Technically you drone if this is your video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right. We'll watch the video. All right.
Very ominous.
It is. It's so good.
There exists a grave disconnect between the products that we wear every day and the lives its creation affects. We at KK International want to change this, and we're going to need your help. Over the last 8 years, we've been working to produce some of the most ethically made products on the planet. Every product we've made has been hand-signed by the person who made it. And we've introduced our customers to those women and their stories. In this process, we've asked ourselves, what more could we do? Is there more beyond the social side in which we could impact? And what would it look like to also have environmental and sustainable product as well? And so we asked ourselves what it would look like to create the world's greatest beanie. When we were thinking about creating this product, we knew we had to hone in specifically on 3 things if it truly was going to be the world's greatest. It had to be the design, the materials that it was made of, and they'd have to really take into consideration the supply chain. And so we started here in California by creating a hat that was simple and clean, it was timeless, and it transcended trends. And what we came up with was a simple cuffed beanie. A design that works just as well whether you're hiking in the Andes Mountains or you're walking the city streets. In order to create the world's greatest beanie, we had to start by using the world's greatest fiber. One that was extremely functional, but also environmentally sustainable. Luckily for us, Peru's home to one such fiber, alpaca. Farm raised in the highlands of the Andean Mountains, this fiber has been used literally for thousands of years by the people of this region to protect them from some of the most unpredictable weather. Not only that, the fiber itself is hypoallergenic and extremely soft to the touch. Alpaca actually uses less food and water resources than sheep or goats, and it produces a higher fiber yield. So all of these things told us that this is one of the greatest fibers we could use in creating this brand new product. The finishing touches for this product, the actual making of the hat itself takes place at Crochet Kids Peru, where we employ women to create all of our products, and for the first time is being educated and empowered to break the cycle of poverty. Maybe for the first time, you'll have an opportunity to purchase an item that you can know every person who's a part of its creation. And that's something that we are so proud of. What you're doing when you're supporting this Kickstarter campaign is you're standing alongside of us and you're saying, people matter. You're letting the world know that there's a new way of how our products can be valued and why we purchase the things that we do.
Yeah.
Did anyone, I just realized like as we were watching that the beginning, it sounded like the Sandlot. Is anyone else who was like, dun, dun.
You guys are 3 for 3 on videos tonight.
Well, it's easy when you get to choose them.
It is. We didn't go back to 8 years ago.
Yeah. No,
so jump on Kickstarter, check it out, back the project. They were funded, you guys were funded in 2 days. I witnessed it first person.
Yeah, you were there.
I was like, I went surfing with Stu, came back, and you guys were almost funded. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll come surfing more often.
Yeah, surfing will do that.
Yeah.
MiiR, can you talk about MiiR's Kickstarter for a second?
We do everything together. We go to dinner together. I wear red pants. He wears a red hat. We do Kickstarters together. We have a Kickstarter. We launched a week after you guys. We launched our new backpack line, which is, if you're in the flagship, it's on that side of the wall. You can go and check out the bags. And we're giving back to education, so helping kids get access to education. So that's building schools, resourcing teachers, and helping them. So awesome. That's the short story is that we helped build a school in Liberia on the side apart from MiiR, and we thought, how can we continue to do this through a product line that made sense? We had bikes and bottles, and people were kind of confused, and so we felt like bags really kind of brought that all together.
I feel that.
Yeah, you're on your bike, you have a bag, you're out hiking, you have your bag and your bottle, and we felt this is perfect.
You're like, where do I put my bottle?
Yeah, in my bag. Where does it go?
Where does it? Okay.
Where does it go?
You'll be home soon, buddy.
So yes, we have a Kickstarter. We didn't fund it in 2 days. We're pretty darn close. We'd love your guys' support. But yeah, for us, it rounds it out. We really believe that helping with getting people to and from school or jobs on bikes, helping people with health through clean water and sanitation, and then education is a way that we can contribute to helping reduce the cycle of poverty. So that's kind of our focus at MiiR, and yeah, we have a good time at it.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, so dual Kickstarters, boom.
Yeah, it's kind of, we're like just high-fiving each other on
every day.
Sorry, guys. Sorry you had to see this.
Let's go to the interwebs. See what else is on there for questions. There's one more above there, I think, that was a pretty good question.
Hunter
Frank. Hunter_Franks.
Yeah. God bless him.
Yeah. How do you balance growing your lifestyle brand and customer base while maintaining your commitment to your mission? Great question, Hunter.
I think we'd be good friends, Hunter.
You would, yeah. Do you want to take a stab at that one?
Yeah, I will. Hi, Hunter. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Means a lot that you asked a question of myself and Brian. So that's a super good question, and I will be the first person to say that it's not easy. That you can't. That at times, though, maintaining the commitment to your mission and growing a brand can be at odds with one another. The best advice that I have is to start with having a very clear mission of what you want to accomplish. Have a mission statement. Have a value system that your company and that your organization stands upon, and let that be the guiding force and the filter through which you put other things. Totally. And saying, who are we? Why do we exist? And get it on paper so that as questions or other things come up, you have like a filter to put that through and to say, is this us? Does this make sense or does it not? I think, again, too often when it comes to social good or doing work that is empowering the world in some way, you can start to chase after the shiny new object, whether it's a donor, in our case, who comes to us and say, hey, I'd really like to fund something in this realm, or I would love to start an organization in the Caribbean or something. It's like, as much as that's appealing and that would be great, we know that it would spread us too thin, and we can see that we're accomplishing what we set out to do or we're not. And so I would say that'd be the most important thing, is to have a structure, have something that you stand upon as your foundation, and then build from there. Totally. And once you have those values established, that'll inform your strategy. Because if you don't have values, your strategy it's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Do you lovely audience, do you guys have any questions? Let's do three more. Jill, I don't want to be the person. My man, he wants the mic. Just don't drop it, no matter how tempted you are. Costs money.
My name is Michael, and I was wondering how you guys give ownership to the people on the ground, the women on the ground who are creating the product, in terms of their creativity and their own passions involved in the product. So, like, how do you let them create their own stuff? Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So it's first important to note, like, when it comes to creating our product that we sell at retail, and we're creating collections and lines that need to be cohesive and have a color story and all the things that make good brands great, that we do dictate the designs of what happens and the products that we do make. And it has to be that way, because in many cases you're developing and designing something a year more in advance, and there's minimums and there's all sorts of fun issues to figure out with ordering materials and all of that. I think the biggest way that we help encourage creativity and allow the women to pursue their passions is to ask them what those passions are. Because a lot of times it's not product, it's not crocheting. We see sometimes women fall in love with the craft and it's something that they start to do more on their own. Women have come into our location in Uganda in these head-to-toe, beautifully crocheted dresses that we were like, oh my, it's like amazing the intricacy and the detail that went into creating these things. I mean, we taught them how to crochet, especially that initial group, and like very quickly they were the masters of crocheting, and we were like, we have nothing on you. But back to your question, it really comes down to understanding what those passions are, and they fall across a wide spectrum of things, and it's helping them to pursue and create pathways to pursue those things more and more. And so if it is business, it's providing trainings and equipping them to understand how they can grow those businesses, or to think about it in different channels and perspectives. One of the things that we do specifically on that front is run an annual business plan competition. So it's a way to bring the women together and to apply the learning and the knowledge of our education and our business trainings to the very specific activity. And just as like when I was in college, we did a business plan competition at the University of Washington and learned and grew through that process. We were able to see how that thinking and that challenge and the tough questions bring out ideas and strategies that weren't there before. So yeah, so again, back to your question, it's about helping understand what those are, and then building an individualized and unique path for them.
Awesome.
Yeah. Tumbler or hat?
Go long.
Can we? Oh, do I go long? Seriously.
2 more, Jill. Let's go 2 more.
I'm here right here.
All right.
Are you guys considering entering any new countries? Do you have any in mind? And either way, which criteria do you consider before entering a new country?
Yeah, that's a good question. Currently, we are not looking to expand to a new country. We see that we have plenty of work to do in the communities where we are already operating, and the product that we're making there, we can continue to scale those operations before, and I think that that's been a learning. It's easy to be like, oh, well, we need to do more. We need to be more places, and you have to fight that, or we've had to fight that temptation to say, no, we need to focus in and really go deep with these communities we want to serve. I think that it is a dream of ours and something we would love to do. As we would consider that, we would start to take a close look at both the economic environment. Since the role of our work is kind of graduation into the local, is there opportunities for women to step into jobs outside of what we could provide? Are there access to materials for us to make really great, capable workforce? Would be some of the questions that we look at. The other thing, as I mentioned before, would be partnerships. So who would be the people that would give us the credibility and stepping in and being able to start up a little bit quicker, because we have their insights and their knowledge into impacting a community that we would want to serve. And can't emphasize the importance of that enough versus, all right, we're ready to help.
We're here.
We're here. So,
do you have alpaca? One more.
I actually have a question really quick that I want to ask Kohl.
Oh.
Whoa.
You just totally.
She just stole the mic. She didn't even drop it. She just.
I'm curious about your famous red beanie and which style it is. How do we get our own?
Yeah, the red beanie. So I've worn a hat, and I live in Southern California, but I wear a hat every single day, outside of a few days that are 95 plus, and the occasional wedding where I feel like, it's probably a little faux pas to be wearing a beanie right now. This is the Brady. We came out with it about 2 years ago, and it was red, and I love red accessories, always have, and so I claimed it as my hat, and I wear it every day, and I may be bald under here, and you would never know. So it's kind of part of my strategy. If I do go bald,
nobody will know.
You still won't know.
Yeah,
yeah,
you won't know.
it's
a great strategy.
So
Very
I get
wise.
Team Zissou a lot.
Yeah.
I'll be walking places.
Were you that for the Halloween?
Yeah, actually, which was funny. We dressed up as Team Zissou. We have a 2-month-old, and I already mentioned his red beanie, so we were like, we need to. The funniest part was we went, and my wife had to leave to go feed him, and so I was just standing here like this, and everyone was like, why didn't you dress up, man? I realized that basically my everyday wear is just a costume.
Yeah, you're like, I'm Steve every day.
Yeah.
Team Zissou all day, every day.
I remember being in San Francisco and somebody was like getting off the BART there and just like under their breath to their friends like, oh, Team Zissou. People just say it.
All
so
day, every
funny.
day. That's so funny.
The Brady.
Yeah.
Well, you look great.
Join
You look
Team
great.
Zissou with me.
Yeah.
Okay, one more
All
question
right, last
here.
question.
Hello, my name is Marissa. And
Hi, Marissa.
How are you doing?
I'm well. Was that your question?
No.
Okay.
My question is two-part. It's a vision question, and it's about the companies. What companies do you hope to inspire? So maybe there might be some people in the audience who are hoping to start a company similar to yours. Like, what do you see in the future for them? And then what companies as well or brands inspire you? We talked about Patagonia, but what might be some others that we might not know about?
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great questions. So first on the companies that inspire us, and you can definitely chime in too. I know Patagonia has been one for us too. Somebody who said, hey, we're gonna take a stand and our message, what we stand for, isn't just a slogan. It's not 3 or 5 words.
Yeah.
Instead, we're going to write essays about it, and we're going to bring people into the importance of it. We're going to talk about real issues. That has definitely been one that has stood out. For me, I see brands, and I'm influenced in a lot of other ways. Like I've had people ask, like, "Oh, can you do you only buy products that you can only know who made it?" And I do try to do that. My wardrobe's made up of mainly Crochet Kids, consignment stores, or like a handful of other brands. One for me, it doesn't really speak to the product side, but it speaks to a message side, is Obey Clothing and Shepherd Ferry. Like I've just loved how they do stand for something. They've done a lot in the social good space, and they're doing a lot in fair trade. But what stands out to me more than anything was them taking a message that in a medium that was somewhat subversive, but putting it in the way and in the public that was a mirror to your face, that caused you and forced you to think about it. And I love that. I love that idea that it's kind of anti-status quo. So that's another one for me. There's a lot of other social good brands that I just feel like we're arm in arm and in the trenches together. MiiR being one of them, friends at the Giving Keys, friends at Me Solo, a lot of people who are leveraging business and specifically manufacturing in ways that are honoring people and share our heartbeat for empowerment. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would echo that. You know, Patagonia, we do their hydration products, and they're just a fun brand to be a part of, and they continue to inspire us because they're always trying to push that next thing, whatever it is. So for that huge props to them, and they just keep on doing their thing and put their head down. I love that.
Yeah.
You know, it's been interesting to watch REI kind of transform. We're all, a lot of us are local here, and their headquarters are here, and they brought in a new CEO, and I think they've done a really good job of going back to their co-op roots. You know, they've always been a co-op, and they never really talked about it, and now they have a new logo, and they're really going back. And then I'm sure you all have heard that they're closing Black Friday. You know, as a retailer, like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But it's, they're creating a buzz. Patagonia did something similar several years ago and said, like, don't buy this shirt or don't buy this fleece, And so people thought it was a marketing slogan, but they're like, no, seriously, don't buy this if you don't need it, right? And so I think same thing with REI. It's like, stop the madness. Like, don't even come to our stores on Black Friday. Like, go out and have fun and go outside. So I have like a huge amount of respect for REI for, going back to the roots. We're a co-op. We're here to do more than just make money. We're here for our members, and we're closing Black Friday. So take that retail market.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then to the other part of your question about what I hope to inspire, I think I really would hope that through our work, I hope that we would inspire people who just have a dream and a vision and a passion to start something and to help people. Our story really lends itself to that, and as we talked about earlier, we didn't have all the answers. We were naive. But those are some of the things that made our work really special. And through that as well, I really would hope that people would not only start something and think about how they could use their passion to create some sort of social good, but really that it would be something that would be measurable, and that they would take that next step to say, it's not sufficient to solely have an impact that is one directional. We believe at Crochet Kids International that impact is a result, it's not an action. It's not the action that you take to give something away, it's the result of what that action did for who the recipient was of that thing. And so that would be my challenge, and something that I hope our specific story would help people understand and inspire them to approach even brands that they shop from, brands even in the social good space, as well as, if entrepreneurialism is something that they're passionate about, that they would consider that idea. And the last thing I'll say about that is we have a resource online it's an ebook. It's called a Simple Guide to Measuring Social Impact. It's a really great resource to learn about that a little bit more if it is something that you are curious about.
And it is good. Adam developed that with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible ebook, you guys. Check it out, crochetkids.org. Excuse me.
Or it'll get you there.
It'll redirect.
It'll get you the right place.
A little redirect.
We'll
I like
get you
that.
there.
All right.
Yeah.
Great question. Great time tonight. Thank you.
Hey, yeah. I've had a really good time.
Good.
Yeah.
You were skeptical 3 weeks ago. You're like, you wanted me to do what?
Yeah. Well, beer and coffee pulled me in.
Yeah. High five. Online, Twitters.
Yeah.
Kohl Crecelius.
Yeah. It's actually, it confuses a lot of people. It's Kohl Grayson, which is my middle name.
Okay.
Do you follow me?
I do.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I don't tweet very often, though.
Yeah, I love social media. I always have. Kohl Grayson. Find me online. Crochet Kids is in all the same places. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Kickstarter, World's Greatest Beanie.
Yes.
I know some of you had more questions. We'll be sticking around. I'd love to answer some of those as well. For those of you online, thanks for tuning in.
We appreciate it.
But you're not here, so we're not going to be able to answer your questions. Maybe find us on Twitter or one of those other social medias.
Yes.
Yeah.
We wish you could join us for the after party of coffee and beer, but
yeah,
that's what the audience gets. So, again, thank you guys. Great show with MiiR Live. Thanks for coming out. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.